Chelsea Gray's name carried weight until it didn't. Her removal from the latest Team USA roster suggests more than just a roster shuffle. It marks the unraveling of an established code in international basketball selection. For years, veteran fidelity, Olympic gold, and locker room influence shaped the blueprint. But that blueprint has been tossed. The new priority, direct impact, rapidity, and adaptation to a global game that no longer dread the red, white, and blue. If you're here for the genuine story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're hanging around for the next meltdown, you better absolutely subscribe. In that light, Gray and Brittany Gurrier, once untouchables, became expendable. It's a decision that doesn't just defy tradition. It openly challenges it. This move isn't about personalities, it's about philosophy. USA Basketball has revised the map with youth-orientated roster that bets on adaptability, shooting, and athleticism over tenure and titles. With Caitlin Clark emerging as the offensive linchpin, the focus is clearly on a team that can evolve with the international game rather than rest on legacy. It's an uncomfortable transition, but a calculated one, signifying a new era that's constructed for 2028, not 2016. The leak hit like a tidal tsunami. Behind the scenes at Team USA, the whispers had blossomed into a full-blown roar. Caitlin Clark was in. Chelsea Gray was out. Brittany Gurrier also gone. And the most unpleasant part, it wasn't a sluggish political maneuver. It was a clean, direct cut. Coach made the decision. That was a word drifting around, resonating through locker rooms and front offices resemble a siren. It wasn't a committee call or a loyalty move. This was strategy. When media pressed for answers, no one pointed fingers, but the quiet said plenty. There was no sugar covering the fact. The selection wasn't about who had been fantastic. It was about who was wonderful now. And if that meant sidelining names that used to be automated locks, then so be it. Chelsea Gray, Olympic gold medalist, WNBA champion, veteran, playmaker, found herself in the wrong side of this new line. Not because she wasn't skilled, not because she didn't have the plaudits, but because the standard had shifted, the game had evolved, and Team USA wasn't waiting for anyone catch up. Her absence from the roster was a hint that sentiment was out. Current output was in. This wasn't about degrading her resume. It was about hard numbers and unpleasant facts. Gray's recent form had slipped. Injuries, age, and redundancy at her post gave the coaching staff every reason to move in a new direction. She still had supporters in the media and among fans. But the message from the top was unmissable. This team wasn't looking backward. Then there was Brittany Gurrier. Her name alone conveys weight. A decade of domination and presence on a global stage. But even Gurrier wasn't immune. The choice to leave her off the roster wasn't personal. It was philosophical. The new direction for Team USA is swift, flexible, perimeter-heavy. And the traditional big, no matter how iconic, doesn't fit that puzzle piece anymore. There's no questioning Griner's leadership or legacy. But the coaching staff had one job: build a roster that could win against modern international competition. That means asking the unthinkable. What if legacy is a problem? What if it's slowing us down? Cut fallout. As soon as the roster leaked, the internet detonated. Fans were furious, puzzled, and in some cases thrilled. The exclusion of Gray and Griner wasn't simply startling. It was sacrilegious to some. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's presence raised an entirely distinct firestorm. Hadn't she been left off the original Olympic roster? Had something changed, or was this always the plan? Insiders said the shift wasn't about pressure. It wasn't about TV ratings, jersey sales, or Instagram followers. It was about fit. Clark's shot, her court vision, her ability to stretch defenses. It made her indispensable. She didn't make the team because she was popular. She made it because the style of play needed her. Kathy Angelberg didn't confirm much, but her messaging around the choice had a distinct undertone. The league was watching closely. Team USA had to not only win, they had to evolve. And in Inglebert's globe, evolution involves listening to data, adjusting to global trends, and making choices that won't always please everyone. And yes, some decisions sting. But her stance was obvious. This is about the following chapter. Holding on to the past, no matter how embellished, won't prepare the team for what's coming in. Paris or Los Angeles. Stepping onto the roster wasn't a marketing gimmick. She's been bearing the Indiana fever on her back since day one. Pulling off showcase plays and draining logo threes like it's a Tuesday. Her number spoke louder than any discussion show, and her power to influence the speed of a game was just what this roster needed. Still, her selection lighted a flame in a room full of fuel. People asked, how could someone get cut weeks ago and now be at the center of the team? But those folks weren't observing close enough. The game is evolving, and Clark isn't the exception. She's a prototype. This isn't merely a roster change. It's a blueprint and revamp. Team USA's new philosophy is built around spacing, pace, and flexibility. Gone are the days of relying on a dominant post-up center to bulldoze through smaller teams. That formula doesn't work anymore. Not when other nations are drilling threes, pressing on defense, and pushing transition for 40 minutes straight. So, the coaches adjusted. The priority now: athletes that can transition across 3 or 4 places, hit outside shots, and defend the perimeter. The result: a younger, quicker, sharper team built not for nostalgia, but for in the long game. It's all about LA 2028. This isn't simply a team for Paris. This is a foundation. The average age and new roster is in the mid-20s, a full generational shift from prior Olympic lineups. Every name selected was chosen with 2 cycles in mind. Win today and grow together for the next 4 years. That's where Clark becomes pivotal. She's not simply another scorer. She's a system. Build around her. Add defenders, shooters, and wings. Something can run. That's the vision. A core that sticks, that learns together and peaks precisely when the spotlight hits in Los Angeles. But with every name added, there's one left behind. And for fans of Gurrier, Gray, or other veterans, the hurt is real. These players built USA basketball's repute. Their absence feels like an eraser, even if it's not intended that way. Caitlin Clark herself understands the path to the moment. Publicly, she stayed silent, courteous. But reports say that she was caught off guard by the unexpected turn in direction. She's not attempting to replace anyone. She's attempting to live up to the opportunity. That pressure, it's enormous. Here's the bigger picture. International women's basketball is catching up rapidly. Countries like Australia, France, and Spain aren't terrified of Team USA anymore. They got shooters, slashers, and techniques that penalize teams stuck in the old ways. If USA didn't evolve, they were going to lose. It's that simple. So now it's a race. Not against other teams, but against time. Can this new bunch gel in time for Paris? Can Clark lead under pressure? Can the coaching staff survive the fallout if things don't work? That's what's on the line. The future of USA dominance hinges not on what's safe, but what's smart. Caitlin Clark didn't just make the roster. She earned the green light in scrimmages and training. The feedback was constant. She was straining defenses in ways Team USA hadn't seen since Diana Taurasi's peak. Her range forces opponents to guard her 30 feet from the hoop, opening up driving lanes and interrupting structured defensive sets. That's not a luxury. It's a requirement in today's international game. But it's not only the shots. It's the pace she plays with. The way she rushes off screens, threads, passes at impossible angles, and keeps pressure on every possession. She wasn't added to be a role player. She was brought in to lead. That's not a minor change. That's a franchise-level shift. In philosophy, Veronica Burton was another modest name left off the list. Not a headline grabber, but her defensive presence and solid play had made her a sleeper selection among analysts. And yet she too was dropped in favor of players with higher upside, more offense, additional versatility. It's not that she did anything incorrect. It's that the ceiling wasn't high enough. That's the frigid part of the process. USA basketball isn't filling voids anymore. They're chasing dominance. And if a player can't deliver on both ends at a rate that matches a worldwide speed, there's no place left. It's severe, yet it's the kind of harsh that gets you gold medals. If it drama. Insiders at the Team USA training camp remarked it was intense from the outset. Whistle. No one's location felt safe. Players who were once believed locks were getting outplayed. Younger talent was talking more, demanding the ball, pushing the pace. The veterans, some adjusted, some didn't. That tension simmered every day. At one point, a scrimmage finished with coaches huddled softly in the corner, writing notes. Someone overheard a staffer mutter, "We're going to have to be bold." That's the kind of energy that shaped this roster. Not handshakes and memories, but game recordings and harsh chats. You can witness it in the exhibition matches, too. The tempo was different. The team wasn't churning out slow possessions or putting the ball into the post every other trip. They were flying. Clark, sprinting pick and rolls, cutting defenders apart, wings spacing the floor. Bigs who could switch and defend on the perimeter. This wasn't evolution. That was revolution. Fans viewing those games observed. They weren't seeing the old Team USA formula. They were seeing something speedier, meaner, more flexible. Something that didn't need to rely on stellar power from yesterday. This team was about now breakdown. So who made the final call? That aspect isn't public, but individuals close to the personnel believe it came down to one person, the head coach. When was time to establish a roster, there was no vote, no appeals, simply a decision. Coach made the decision. That quote kept repeating because it contained weight. And it's not just about picking players. It's about committing to a style. You can't say you want speed and then keep the slow-footed veteran. You can't claim you want shooting and then overlook the best shooter in the league. This coach knew that. And instead of hedging bets, they doubled. Caitlin Clark finally broke her silence a few